So I'm immediately getting another video up today because there is something that happened this week that deserves its own little discussion. Um, so yeah, first week in country, got my wallet lifted right off the bus. Um, so that was fun. Um, yeah, basically, I was at the coffee shop with Phoenix, the guy I mentioned before, 5 years of broadcast, and said, "Hey, you know where my wallet is?" And he's like, "No." And he mentioned the possibility of it getting lifted on the bus. And when I thought about it, not only did I know he was right, I knew it happened. I actually knew when, where, and where it happened, and essentially who did it. I mean, I didn't see the person, I didn't get a look at the person, but I mean, I basically know who it was and where and how it all happened. So, figured we could go through a little breakdown of how it happened and maybe some ideas on how to prevent this in the future. So, basically, number one, pickpocketers are going to be well dressed. That's something to look out for. They look like business people. Um, and well, let me break down how it happened. I had the little bus card, right? Little bus card you load up, you tap it to get on and off the bus, or on the bus rather. And I was making some pretty stupid gringo mistakes, like touristy gringo mistakes. I had the wallet, the big fat leather wallet that I just carried around the United States all the time, carried around in my cargo pocket, and I had that card in the wallet. I also had all of the local currency that I owned in that wallet as well. Why? I don't know. I didn't think about it. I just had everything in there, and yeah, I was taking it in and out every time to get on the bus. And on the bus ride where it happened, when I was getting on, I realized, this is kind of stupid. Why am I pulling the card out of the wallet? Just I separated them and put the wallet back in the cargo pocket, and I was just going to keep the bus card in another pocket just to pull it out. Well, I was getting wiser, but it was too late because that was the moment I was marked, because that's the trip where it happened. So the guy ended up right next to me, and it's a crowded bus, right? And the thing I remember seeing was the suit coat. You see, it's nice and warm outside, so he's in a business suit, but he's got the suit coat draped over his arm. So if you see people like on a bus or something with their coats draped over their arm, the suit coat, of course that alone isn't a tell, but watch out for that, especially if it's kind of draped like long ways and over their hand. They're totally covering their hand. Watch those fuckers like a hawk. They're probably coming for your pockets. So, yeah, that's what it was. It was right up against me with the coat, and I even remember feeling something down by my leg, and I just thought like, oh, someone's like up against me, so I'll step away. I don't know why it didn't even occur to me that I was being robbed at that moment. It's never happened to me before. I don't know. Yeah, don't know what I was thinking, but that's exactly when it happened. So yeah, he got the wallet. He made off with a couple $100 cash. Could have been as much as 250, maybe a little less than 200, but yeah, it was a couple $100 gone, along with my debit card, which wasn't cool because now it's like I shut it down easily enough. That's fine. There were no charges because I caught it right away. But now I got to get a new one, and this whole shipping it to Chile, and plus my bank has some sort of I had an update on my account, like my updated my address or something, and they have some policy where you can't update your address. You can't. They won't mail out a new card for an account until 30 days after the last account update, which was like mid-January. So they can get me another card, but they're not willing to even get me another one until that 30-day mark. So I have to wait for them to even send it to me, which is not cool. So yeah, lost a decent chunk of change and my debit card, which was really not cool. Now, I can survive. I'm fine. I got Phoenix uses Bitcoin, and if he needed, he gave me some cash to to get by, and if he needed the money, I could get him Bitcoin, and I mean we'll settle up. But so I have a way to get by for a few weeks. Um, but yeah, that was it. Kind of it pissed me off. It really pissed me off when I realized what happens. Partially mad at myself, obviously quite angry at the piece of shit that took my wallet. But I have been thinking of a couple things to help like keep this in perspective. Number one, I saved a ton of money on my trip here to Chile. I found that one route that was really cheap. It's probably half of what a lot of people pay. I talked to one guy down here that paid easily double, over double what I paid. Um, so all in all, I came out on top. I need to remember it. Like I came out on top in the end, but it's still, it's $200 I could have used. So it's aggravating. But the other thing that to help me keep this in perspective, which is really important, is to compare the reality of thievery down here to the reality of money you can lose in the great totalitarian north. So, for example, I was sitting, when I was in California, I was sitting on a bus. I had just gotten on. It was near a corner I was familiar with, really busy, lots of pedestrians and everything. And a couple people were talking about a guy that had started walking across a street before the light had quite turned green for walking, because he knew the timing of the lights or whatever. And of course, a cop was sitting there and waiting and hit him with a jaywalking ticket, which was like $250. I mean, just outrageous. And then a speeding ticket in California, what's that, 350 right now? Moving violation, forget it. 400, 500, I don't even know anymore. So, and there's all those little things that you can get where the state uses an excuse to rob you. And it's entirely plausible that that could happen a couple times a year for you. So there could be this impulse to just be like, screw South America and these cities and their crime and everything. But the reality is that the random thievery of miscreants will never outdo the systematic plunder of the state. And the other thing is I can defend myself against things like this in the future. There are precautions I can take where I can essentially eliminate this from happening again. Don't make the stupid touristy mistakes that I made. Strap stuff, in closer pockets, and don't carry everything on it. Like there's plenty of things I can do to protect myself from that kind of thievery. But when you're in an emerging police state, there's not much you can do. You can only avoid so much before this random hand of the state reaches into your account and pulls something away. So it's just good to remember that. So I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling pretty good. It's like I can deal with this once I get the new card. It's like I can settle up and everything's fine. But yeah, it was a really good way to sort of. It was an interesting experience, and it was a good thought process to sort of put everything back into perspective. So that was my adventure this week, I guess, and hopefully I'll have a more positive adventure for you at some point in the future. So until next time, keep an eye on your wallets.